Well, a quick service announcement ahead of today's episode. We've had a lot of debate over the last week about job offers and which ones we should have taken at this point last week. And of course, it was a very close decision which I agonised over for a while. Out of difficult decisions come good ideas though, because it's given me a save idea, and ideally I wanted to manage both clubs. So if you haven't seen yesterday's video, a one-off special where we talk about this head coach save, have a check of that out in the eye above. Because those of you who think I made the wrong decision, well, you might be a little interested in that one. For those of you that are happy we're at Bournemouth though, normal service resumes today, but in the long term, we're still going to find out whether it was the right decision or not. Well, we're back for transfer deadline day on the South Coast after a positive start to our tenure at Bournemouth. It's certainly not been spectacular, but it's been incredibly solid defensively. We're nicking games by the odd goal, we're well clear of the relegation trouble. And now we can worry about whether we're going to lose any stars today and the club debt, which is approaching a 9-figure sum. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 49 of the head coach with me, Daniel. It's been a brilliant start on the pitch to our time at Bournemouth, as you can tell by the fact that you can see our team's name on the league table above my head. We have moved into the top half, we've not drawn games, but we've picked up a few really crucial wins, and that has made a big difference to how relaxed I'm going to be for the rest of this season. We come up against another mid-table side in Brighton today who are just 3 points behind us. So if you're looking forward to seeing how we get on in that one after a big deadline day in the January transfer window, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. It's Dom Solanke's Barmy Army at the minute. He's scoring all the goals, he's doing all the jobs for us. But for now, let's have a look at the schedule and the transfer window so far. Because in terms of transfers, there's really not a lot going on. A couple of youngsters being linked, one of whom has agreed to join in the summer. We already know about Brassier, who's here as a backup, and lots of young players going out on loan who have been gradually added over the staff meetings in recent weeks. A few coaches coming in as well, which we'll have a look at later, because that is always a key part of success in Football Manager. If we have a look at the history, just one very cheap young player in, who's not great, but has got a bit of potential. And he didn't get a work permit either, so he's gone straight back out on loan. On the other side of it though, loads of players were already pre-agreed to go on loan to Cluj or a feeder club, but the crucial bit of news prior to that is Jeffrey Kondogbia is off the wage bill. The director of football let him go for nothing to Ferencváros, where he's now going to be a player for them. And to be fair, 57 grand off the wage bill, and in fairness to the player, 6 grand a week there, he didn't ask for any wages to be contributed, so credit to him as well. Thiago Martinez, another player on the fringe of the squad, he's gone on loan to Estoril and will play in the Portuguese top tier. Probably for the best because he's not getting much football here. And then a few young players out on loan in England, but not really much going on. And nothing in terms of big interest for the first team players. However, Justin Kluivert has joined Mamadou Sonko in forcing his way onto the transfer list. And more importantly, with Kluivert, the squad actually want us to sell him, so we'll see if the director of football can live up to that today. There is one bit of good news when it comes to the transfer list though, and it's in the same sort of position. Damsgaard has taken himself off it now. He withdrew his request after being happier than he was recently. For some reason, I don't know. Ollie Burns improving as well, the youngster, so there are some promising signs, but none more so than the results on the pitch, because it's not been thrilling to watch, and by God, it's not entertaining. But we are picking up results. After the Southampton game, where you were with me for that brilliant win there, and at Chelsea, we won 2-0 at bottom of the table Sunderland, which was probably the one we expected. Siganov and Tyler Adams picking up the goals there. Then the surprise one again against United, so similar to the Chelsea game. You can see from the ratings there, Kaneski was man of the match. Veron picked up an early goal. We'd actually rested 2 or 3 for that game, which made it even more impressive. Against Spurs, we had nobody fit. They all dropped out, and to be fair, it showed. We had Brassier in defence, we had Till in centre midfield, Solanke came in up front and got injured, but Shapendi did score in his place off the bench, but after going 3-0 down in 35 minutes, we changed to the 4-3-3. We actually made it a proper 4-5-1 and just sat there to limit the damage. We've got to do that at the moment. Against Everton, a similar 3-1 defeat. Don't forget, this isn't the Everton you're thinking of. They're 4th in the Premier League, and annoyingly, we've drawn them in the next round of the cup as well. But again, the game was out of sight by the hour mark. Lewis Cook was the man to get our goal. Against Coventry in the FA Cup, we rotated a bit. Mepham and Leonardo, two of those three first-teamers who did start, managed to get the goals before a big 1-0 win at home to Forest. A 92nd minute Dominic Solanke header. It was another one of those gritty defensive displays. We then won 3-2 at Brentford in a bonkers game where you can see again Solanke got a hat-trick before a 2-1 win at home to Leicester. And again, look at the late turnaround. We were 1-0 down and playing poorly at half-time. I actually switched shape in the Brentford game as well, but in this one we stuck with it. We won by 2-1, and Zabani off the bench back from injury with a header, and Veron scoring, poaching in the box with 5 minutes to go off the bench. So lots of different heroes, but Solanke's been the main man. Leonardo struggling, he's wanted by several clubs. But if we go and have a look at what's expected on deadline day, the top in is the one that excites me the most because we are short a centre-half. One injury and we look in real trouble, particularly with the back three. It's not a squad that's been built for it, but Charlie Cresswell on loan, if we could get it, would be an unbelievable deal, both for the starting 11 and for the squad depth. We are linked with 2 players for 7 million quid, but we can't get them unless players leave the club because our budget is atrocious, as are our finances overall. And then the players that have been linked with moves out. At the moment, we know Egan Riley will go, but the likes of Clive are on a transfer list. No one's making bids. They're all loan offers, which I guess happens more in January, but they've got to come with that mandatory future fee, the obligation to buy. And at the moment, that isn't occurring. So for now, I don't actually know how many will leave today. I am a bit worried that the Saudi window closes later, so we might lose some in the next week or two. But overall, we've done enough to get ourselves safe. And the director of football now has probably just got to fix the finances. We have a look at them. The debt is up by another 5 million quid from when we joined the club. It's up to 98 million now, and it's going to pass the 100 mark if we don't sell someone today. Yes, we've got under the wage bill. Yes, there's a few players moving on, but it's not enough at the minute. And for the long term, it is my worry. We asked the question, why on earth would a Premier League club with a 3.5-star reputation come in for a manager like us? Well, we might have our answer here because in the long term, this could be an impossible job. Maybe our objective here, do really well this season, maybe go on a cup run, focus on something like that, and then try and get a move again very quickly because this looks like it's kind of a disaster waiting to happen in the long term. Let's go and get through deadline day though. We'll take part with 15 hours to go. McPhelan and Richard Hughes have got a lot of work to do. You can see there, Leonardo linked with West Ham for 70 million. Not that I mind the way that Dom Solanke's playing. Well, the first transfer news of the day is perhaps not the most spectacular, but we have got a player going out on loan in Roman Egan Riley, and every little bit off the wage bill at the minute is important because it will just sort of balance out the expenditure from the club. Of course, the attendances are a problem as well. We only got 15,000 for the last game, 15 the one before. Against United, we didn't even sell out, only 18,000. So maybe the fan base isn't there to fill this stadium. And that is potentially a problem for the long term. If you look at the facilities, if we could get in 23,000 every game, I think we'd be in a really good place. But at the moment, that doesn't look like happening, which is part of the financial trouble we've got. So to improve that, we'll have to keep trying to do well on the pitch. But for now, with 10 hours to go, I'm worrying about which big boy it's going to be. Because someone out of all these wanted players is surely going to move on. Well, do you know what? The transfer deadline has passed. Justin Cliver has had a loan bid rejected in the 11th hour. And of course, there is an hour to go abroad, so we'll keep an eye on that. However, I'm pretty thrilled with this window. I'm not sure the money men at the club will be because the debt looks like it's going to be spiralling out of control. And that is a worry for me with administrations and things like that in consideration. However, looking at what we've done this window, the director of football has got Kondogbia off the wage bill, has loaned out a couple of other players to get a few grand off, and signed one cheap youngster who's loaned out again. I mean, you can't argue with it. We didn't need a big overhaul this window. We just needed to keep the stars. We've got the 4th lowest wage bill in the division. We're overachieving at the minute, and we're doing the job. So with a lot of players going out due to loan deals and whatever, most of them were pre-agreed with Cluj anyway, I think we just go on as we were. But to not lose stars in this window so far has been a real big positive for me. Whether or not that will change with the Saudi Arabian clubs, we'll wait and see over the next weeks. But for now, we can turn our attention to Brighton at the weekend. And while we have had a good start with this club, we have got to be wary of the fixtures coming up. The likes of City, Everton again, Liverpool all coming up, with Arsenal, Newcastle later in the season as well. There are some difficult fixtures on the horizon, and we have seen whenever we've had to play more than once a week, we've struggled to really get going. So let's go and get through to the Brighton game and see if we can stay ahead of them in this mid-table clash. Well, we return for the Brighton game, but unfortunately it is bad news on the financial front again, because I didn't realise Ryan Christie was coming back from his loan at Shakhtar. He is wanted by Start and he's transfer listed. We'll see if he goes, but he's an awful player at this age. Why he was given another long-term deal, I don't know. And unfortunately, we're carrying 43 grand a week for him. He's getting paid more than quite a few of our first team squad, which is absolutely scandalous, really. So hopefully a deal gets done for him. There's been no other offers elsewhere, but I did promise to show you the staffing, because I know it's maybe not the most exciting thing in FM, but it is so important. And it looks like Richard Hughes has got that on board as well, because there's been 5 additions since we've come in, and 4 of them have been very important people, because yes, there's an under 18s physio there who's average, but Mike Phelan we met, great director of football, done well to keep our players this month, rejected a lot of offers for loan deals. Marcelo Aya is a very good fitness coach, and if we are going to eventually lose some of these players and have to work with a younger, poorer squad, having great coaches is important. Aya's one of them. Andrew Hughes from Norwich is another, absolutely brilliant at his job. Was a decent player to be fair to him, but a good coach and great on set pieces too. And Justin Cochrane has just come in, and he is another one that's excellent. A good lower league player back in the day, but an excellent coach, great judgment, great defensive attributes, and also good working with youngsters. We've done really well out of this. I'm thrilled with the people that have come in, so well done to Richard Hughes for that. But I did promise also that we'd have a look at our former club, Kashima, because they've of course gone through a transfer window here. And it'll be really interesting to see whether they've been investing this winter. So their new manager is Makoto Tagura Mori, who has joined from Kawasaki, and he's got a good personality and decent attributes, so they've gone experience there. But who have they bought in and let go? I want to see this. So let's have a look at their release players. Matt Swo's gone and Kostic retired. We knew that. They're the 2 that have left the club. Any more this year? None at the minute. So let's get the transfers up. They have gone. This has got to be a joke, right? No players out. Have they seriously not sold anyone at first team level? That's ridiculous. They've also bought in 3 players. They've spent a bit of money. So they have bought in Andu Kalati from Braunschweig in Germany, who's a good winger. Probably not exceptional, but very decent. They've also bought in Kadai Yasukawa, who is a 21-year-old striker who's got really good attributes. And they've bought in Tetsushi Yamakawa for £1 million from Kashiwa, who is pretty good. His jumping reach makes up for his heading ability, and he's a solid centre-half. So actually, they've really improved their squad this window so far, and it looks like Kashima Antlers might be on the up again. Maybe it was our wages holding them back, I don't know. For now, though, we turn our attention back to Bournemouth as we head to Brighton in what is now mercifully a mid-table clash. They're playing 4-4-2 with the Brazilian duo up front. They've got Richarlison and Højbjerg from Spurs. They've got Sambi Lokonga, currently at Luton in real life. And they've also got Milenkovic at centre-half. So a few additions to this Brighton team, and they've not had the same troubles that they did in the Twitch save with Luton Town. But let's go and get through to our lineup for this, because we should have Zabani back, who came off the bench last time, and he's a big asset because Brasia is not quite the same. The midfield is good enough, the attacking 3 is fine. Stiganov's not been great recently. I'm very tempted to give Veron a start, and I will do. And Solanke is going to stay up front, I think, although Leonardo did well against Leicester, and Solanke's been much better off the bench. So let's make those 2 changes in attacking areas with Zabani in defensively. Ollie Byrne is now trained as a wing-back, which really helps us for substitutes because Josh Stoiger's not got great natural fitness for his role. And that means we can rotate the bench a bit more when we need to. But for now, our 11 in full is Karnazeki in goal, who's been excellent for me. Zabani, Mepham and Senesi the back 3. Stoiger and Aaron's the wing-backs with Adams and Scott in the middle. And then Veronin on the right with Cliver on the left and Marcos Leonardo up front. Same tactical style no matter what formation we're in. So the boys are getting more and more familiar. But this game's a tricky one. Against a 4-4-2, we're going to have to be a bit more careful. But hopefully, our wide area will be able to beat theirs. Did I just see they had Kofi Baumer in their 11 last game? Their best player's out, Billy Gilmore, which is great. Where did I see Kofi Baumer there? Centre half, backup. Oh, wow, he's become a good player in this game. Fair play to him. Let's get through the tunnel interview. Let's get into the first half. We've picked up a few gritty wins in our time here already. Can we add to it today at Brighton and Hove Albion? They've not been entertaining games to watch. Generally, every game we've won with FM the opposition, which I appreciate in the long term. Once the new manager bounce is gone, once that little honeymoon period's over, is not going to work. But for now, we've got to take advantage of it. As Alex Scott in the middle, best trainer every week, playing really well. Very different to what we saw in that Bristol City save last year, as Doig gets away down the left-hand side. Back to Cliver. Cuts back to Alex Scott. Switch of players on. What a ball that is, though. Cliver misses it. What a pass from Alex Scott. I didn't see it coming. And for the first time in a long time, we've had the more positive start in a game. We've not been able to find a goal from it, though. And with 25 minutes gone, it remains goalless, which, let's be honest, has not been a surprise in most of our games so far. As Cliver gets the ball out wide again. Good ball in towards Veron. Just beaten to it by the defender. Aaron's in again. No, Leonardo's up. We changed the striker. And it appears we've made the right decision again. I'm not actually sure if he scored since I've been here. But Marcos Leonardo up at the back post. The goal is onside and awarded. And we're 1-0 up after half an hour. And for about the first time since we've been here, we've actually deserved it too. 10 minutes to the break. It's been a dream start, but Brighton, they will bounce back. And Højbjerg's got a corner. Headed up, not really away, but Scott then flicks on. And Marcos Leonardo is away on the counter. Clivert's up with him. It's one of the gambles I made when we came here. Let's go for it from set pieces as Clivert curls just wide. He's been pretty poor so far, but we've not had him fully fit really at any point. So I don't want to judge him until we get to that stage. As Zabani finds Chris Mepham and now Adams. Scott with a switch of play to Doig. And he carries it down the line again. It cuts inside to the centre circle. Looks wide for Clivert. A through ball to Leonardo. Right idea. Not quite executed well. But look at that work from Adams to get back. The two in the middle doing the job. We're basically playing the Luton formation here. But we've given it away. Max Aaron's not quite attacking that ball. And Scott's pass slightly under hit. Though Doig fights back. Finds Clivert. And now Senesi. Very high tempo, very chaotic. And we've given it away again. Alex Scott has done that 3 times in 5 minutes. Not ideal. Pedro's in. It must be offside. Surely that was off. If not, how did he get that far ahead of the line? That's my concern here. Please let us get away with one. Referee's hand goes up. The goal is disallowed. It remains 1-0. But Alex Scott, you've got to do better in there than that. 5 minutes to the break. We've been the better team. We've had twice the shots, double on target. We've had our moments on the ball as well. And we're getting shots away, which normally we don't do in abundance during these matches. I think you can see how we've become a pretty feisty and difficult team to beat. It is a problem that Clivert's not playing well again. I kind of wish we'd got a big offer in January. He's the one I would have been happy to see go. He's already said he's going to leave at the end of his contract in 18 months. He's going to be 30 by the end of the season, I think. Yep, 5th of May. So he's the one I'd probably be happy to see go. We're going to switch him for now with Viktor Siganov. Ron will come over to the left-hand side. He probably won't be too far behind either, but for now, we're going to leave it at just one. I don't want to change up too much, and I don't want to change the defensive shape. But as we've just seen there, Doig is never far away from being completely knackered. So we'll see out this highlight and then make some decisions. As a Stupinan throws into Mitoma. Back to him again. Good ball in. Blocked towards Sarmiento. Josh Doig might be tired, but he did very well there. And he also won the goal kick after as well. Good work from the lads, but with 15 to go, Brighton are growing into this. So for now, let's go and get Josh Doig off. We'll switch Aarons to the left and put Maffeo on the right. Veron will come off as well for Mikkel Damsgaard. And Solanke on for the tired Leonardo. What a super sub to have up front. We will probably do Cook for Tyler Adams as the last one, as he often runs out of steam too. He's got great natural fitness, so I don't worry about him so much. And on this occasion, in fact, I might do Alex Scott instead. But let's see the corner first. Højbjerg's in, Zabani up, Solanke away, back to Estupiñán. Cross into the box, Maffeo clears, and now we counter. Damsgaard touches heavy. Oh, he could have brought that down and set us away. Højbjerg in behind, well dealt with by Adams. Maffeo breaks down the right. Look at the defensive effort from the boys, but going forward, we're just giving it away a bit too much now. Sambi Lokonga finds Højbjerg, and Brighton, it's wave after wave. But Senesi has read that really well. Gets in for Damsgaard, and now Solanke. On the left back to Aaron. Sensible play. Down the line for Damsgaard. Off the transfer list and in form. Cross in towards Siganov away. Alex Scott brings it down. Great run. Into Solanke. Oh, good save. How did he keep that out? Wonderful goalkeeping. And as we head into stoppage time, we've got a corner first, and then we'll make the time-wasting changes and the final sub. Well, the ball back to the edge of the box. Confused me. Thought Maffeo was going to put one in the corner. Not to be. We've got 5 minutes added on, and one of these centre midfielders is going to come off. Alex Scott has not got the best natural fitness, so it's going to be him for Lewis Cook. We're going to drop Adams to a defensive duty. We're going to do the same with the wing-backs. The wingers on support. And as we did in the 2 games we were winning, certainly that Chelsea one on our debut, we've done this quite a lot. When we've been 1 goal up in stoppage time, we dropped to 5-4-1. We drop the tempo. We stop the overlaps. We time waste. We play for set pieces. We also slow the pace down on the ball. We also drop off out of possession. And we drop to a cautious mentality. It's worked for us virtually every time so far. I mean, the only time we lost one late is when we chased it against Leeds, didn't we? But then even that worked against Forest. A big 1-0 win again. This Bournemouth side is going to be my type of team. At the moment, until we lose half of them, that is. They've got great personalities. They're resolute. They're disciplined. And while I'm going to start getting the criticism in the comments, because I used to get it in the old FMs for playing boring football, for not being stylish enough, you can't argue with the results here. Bournemouth are in 9th place. We've got them to 37 points already. And we're not drawing games. We're converting them into wins because of this brilliant defensive record. We highlighted it as the biggest problem for the club when we got here. And we have made it a really big strength of ours. Take away those Everton and Spurs games. One of them we played a backup team. One of them away to a top side. 4 clean sheets in our first 5 games. 1 conceded against Leeds late on. 2 clean sheets in our last 3 league games, just 1 against Leicester let in. This is a team that is going to be gritty till the end of the year. I do feel that we're going to lose a few players, either to Saudi or at the end of the season, and I don't think this squad's going to look too similar then. But my big worry at the minute is the finances. The debt is literally going to pass 100 million next week, and I'm not sure how we deal with it, because at the moment, there is nothing we can do other than hope the club doesn't go into administration. Ryan Christie coming back has ruined the wage bill too. There are a lot of negatives at the minute. Off the pitch, that is. On it, we're doing a remarkable job. And either way, we look like a superstar now. So let's just very quickly skip ahead to next weekend, because I want to make sure that we don't lose any players to Saudi clubs. And then we'll go and have a look at the schedule and see when we're next going to be back. Well, I'm very glad we skipped ahead, because one day later, and Shakhtar might have saved us. They've offered nothing for Christie, but it's been accepted because the player was on the transfer list and set for release. And it looks like Ryan Christie is off. Mike Phelan, he might have just saved us 43 grand a week and crucially got us back under the wage bill. We keep going through these recruitment meetings and transfer listing players as recommended. But for now, we just need to see if anyone else goes. But Ryan Christie at this point would be enough. Well done to Mike Phelan, because he's got the wage bill back under control. Shakhtar bringing Ryan Christie in for free, but that means we are back under our wage bill. And while the debt is still going to go past 100 million, we're doing our bit, because we're 25 grand a week under what we're allowed to be. Well, we've reached match day. There's no further transfer news, just an injury to Max Aarons, unfortunately. But overall, this has been a really good episode. Another big gritty win away from home in the Premier League, where we just look so solid defensively in our current tactic. We've also managed to see our director of football get both Kondogbia and Ryan Christie off the wage bill in the last month. And with Brasia joining permanently at the end of the season, Aragon, a youngster coming in who, by the way, not got massive potential, but if we were in an emergency, would do a job. I feel like we're in pretty good nick. He's still improving the coaching team. Sean Parrish, another pretty good one on paper. Looks like he's coming in. This has been a really promising start, but there is this big dark cloud looming, and it is this. What is going to happen with the finance? It still says it's okay rather than insecure. So maybe I just have to relax and assume it's under control. But let me know what's happened if you've seen that sort of situation in the past. For now, though, we are going to leave it to about halfway between now and the end of the season. Of course, the big question is going to be, can we go on an FA Cup run? We've played two teams that were winnable previously. Everton are the best side we've faced so far. They're in the top four of the league. They're a quality side. But maybe at home it'll be different. I don't know. We've also got a big finish to the season with bottom of the table Sunderland and the South Coast Derby. Could we end up relegating Southampton in the final episode of the year? That would be something, wouldn't it? For now, though, we're going to come back either for an FA Cup quarter final if we get there and it's a good tie. If not, it will be Newcastle and Arsenal after the international break in March. We'll show you against two of the top sides to see if we can compete as well as we did against Chelsea in our opener or at home to United a few games after. If you did enjoy this one though, please do put a thumbs up on it. Let me know what you thought of the performance at Brighton, because we seem to have just stumbled on an incredibly resolute defence and I'm not quite sure what's caused it. This was a goalkeeper who'd been disastrous when we came in. Maybe because they were playing a back four and he was playing as a sweeper keeper. Is that what it was? It just, they weren't suiting the team and we've managed to resolve that. I guess we'll find out as the months go on. It's a good start, but it's nothing more than that at the minute. The only good news is that we're guaranteed not to go down. And that was my first worry when we joined the club. So for now, if you want to stay up to date and see how the rest of the season goes, whether we can go on a cup run and if the disastrous finances cause any problems, then please do subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We're also back with Southend United tomorrow. Pretty big episode in that one, I must say. You can find that playlist in the eye above if you've missed any of the stories so far, as well as links to the Twitch channel for regular live streams, the football podcast for tons of content over there. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in a couple of days' time as our Bournemouth adventure continues.